Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this price ladder analysis stream. What I'm basically going to be going through today is quite an interesting little setup that we saw in the Euro stoxx futures. I wasn't actually looking at this particular ladder at the time. I was looking at a different market, but Reg, that sits next to me, and brought this to my attention later on and told me this would probably be really good for one of your streams. Or even to put as one of the drills in the price ladder training program. A lot of the guys even on the price ladder training terminal were watching this at the time and told me, you know, just see if you can get this up and explain what actually goes on here. So what we're specifically looking at is going to be a setup in the Euro stoxx 50 futures. And we're looking at two types of patterns: a spoofer that comes into the market and also someone that comes in and absorbs. Now these are probably working together basically. Either it's one person or someone sees liquidity and then trades off of it accordingly. So what we're going to take a look at in a second, so we're just going to wait until this replay loads up, is the market's going to open up, probably trade around 29.60s area, 29.62 area, and then we're going to see someone come into the market with quite a bit of size, and we want to see how the market's going to interact with that and see if there's any sort of dynamics that we can pay attention to and trade off of while that is occurring. So let's just see how this takes place now. Okay, so as you guys can see, we've just started up that replay. We're trading at 29.61, 29.60 bid. 29.60 is actually the low of the day. Now let's just take a look at the average bid and offers in the market. Right now we've got about 100 up on 61s, about 100 odd on 62, 63, 500 lots. Overall, just a little bit away from the 2 or 3 price range of the market. We've got 1,000 lots just stacked on the offer, 1,000 lots stacked on the bid. So overall, we know our average size is around 1,000 lots, give or take, if you look at the whole depth of the book as it stands at the minute. So let's just see now, as we're trading 62s, we're seeing someone just kind of come into market here trying to sell a little bit at 62s, trying to take it off at 62s. Someone seems to be just sitting passively on 62s, slightly absorbing whatever's coming to him at the minute. 50 lots trading into him, he's absorbing it. We're seeing a little bit of activity here where the bids and the offers are bulking up and then coming back down, and you can see these 62s going up to 500 lots, and every time it trades into it going down to about 300 lots. So we're seeing a little bit of algorithmic activity, you know, the speed at which is, you know, putting the bids and the offers in and then pulling them. You can see it's quite quick, so it could be an algorithm, someone trying to take part in this market right now, maybe a market maker, but we'll see in a second hopefully how that pans out. So we're currently trading 63s, 62 bid, 400. So we're just trading into these 62s again. Not really getting far at the minute. Very slow price action. Again, you can see here from 300 we get back up to 500, and then when we hit the bid at 62s, we've gone offered fairly quickly with just about 70 lots. So there we go, 62s, 29.62s. We're seeing a very big offer. Then again, he pushes down to 61, then 60s, and you can see the market now reacting to it, going offered at the next price and then the next price. So now the market's now front run him, and notice how we've gone bid at 60s and we've done very little volume at 60s. The guy's basically not there, but every time we get up to him, someone seems to be reloading for now, not actually letting it go bid just yet. You can see we just went 50 lots lifted, came down, hit the bid for 330 lots, and someone just seems to be now passively sitting in front of these 60s. Now, if you were trading this, just looking at this right now, initially you could have been trying to front run this guy, but now I'm already starting to think, well, wait, this guy keeps trying to come in at 60s and 61s, and he's effectively not really doing much. He's not getting his fill, and he's not wanting to get his fill effectively. Every time he comes down to these prices. You can see the market gets down to the price. He puts in a really big offer. The market then hits the bid in front of that big offer, and then someone sits there on the bid reloading. So we're seeing a buyer, a passive absorption buyer, buying at 60s and 59s at the minute. Let's just see how this reacts here. Now we're bid 59s. We've just taken the rest of those 10 lots. 600 lots traded into 59s, another 1,000. So we have 1,200 lots, as you can see here, 1,200 lots trading in at 59s, and that is what we call absorption. And this, again, now notice the reaction of two different order flow patterns acting together, and usually this is what you see when you get a spoofer. The spoofer comes into the market on the offer, and likely it's the same guy that's spoofing that is absorbing at 59s. He's trying to get a big buying order away. Notice every time we try and take the bid out at 59s, we just keep reloading. We keep adding more and more contracts to 59. We've done so far 3,500 contracts at 59s, and at the price where we're seeing the big offer come in at 60s, we've done barely any volume. So that is already telling us a bit of a story here. Now, the risk on this trade obviously is very little. If anything, 1 or 2 ticks. We don't really want to take much risk on this trade because effectively once this buyer is gone and he gets rid of his order, if more sellers come in and overwhelm this area, then the trade's gone. Then effectively our stop is at 57s and 56s. We do not want to see this go through the low of the day. We'd like this to hold up. Now notice that spoofer that was at 60s, that spoofer that was just at 60s and now moved up to 61s. That's already showing us that he doesn't actually have an integrity offer. He doesn't actually have an offer that he wants to get filled on. He's coming in at 60s. Someone's trying to use that liquidity and actually buy him. And then notice 8 lots, just 8 lots trade into 61s, and almost instantaneously he moves his offer up 62s. And again, 13 lots at 62s, 20 lots at 63s, and he just keeps moving it up 1 price, and up 1 price, and up 1 price. Now, we've just gone from 59s to 63s in a matter of seconds because that 3,000 lot has now pulled up the page and moved his offer up the page. Now, we don't actually know what the strategy behind this is, if it's a short-term or long-term strategy. But what we can say from what we've just seen is that basically, from what we've just seen, someone's come in, spoofed around 60s and 61s, absorbed everything at 59s, and now it's trading 29.63s. So we're seeing, basically, as we were saying before, a spoofer, if we had to put this into some sort of progression, a spoofer comes into the market, then we see people front run him. So we see the front running of the spoofer. The market then moves down, so a few ticks. And then from there, we saw the absorption at 59s, and the spoofing remained at 61s and 60s. So those 2 prices where he sat with his very large offer and basically spooked, he was spoofing, but was also spooking everyone into trying to sell in front of him. And as people were selling more and more contracts in front of him, either they were locals or short-term traders, whatever they were doing, they see, as we're getting towards the low of the day, this is going to, they're thinking, this is going to break through the low of the day. I want to sell this here in front of this guy. I've got 1 or 2 tick stop because if this guy goes, and I've got this. But if you're just watching the dynamics and watching that every time someone tried to lift him, he would pull away, that's just showing you he doesn't actually want to get filled on those. And really, behind everything, we're seeing a large absorber at 59s. And now we immediately went from 59 to 63s just like that in a matter of seconds. I mean, on a 3,000, even if you just absorb 3,000 lots, 30,000 euros a tick, that's about 120 grand. In a short time frame, whether he's trading in a short or a long time frame, he's incredibly improving his execution. So just understand the dynamics behind these sort of patterns. You don't always see something so in your face like that. Sometimes it's a little less obvious what he's potentially trying to do. but I just wanted to show you how you could potentially react to something like that. And if you're calm, cool, and collective, and you're understanding exactly what potentially is trying to do, you can interact with that pattern and take very high risk reward setups just because it's presented to you in that manner. You know, if you can just understand that he was not trying to get filled on those, and there was a massive absorber just below that, you could have taken advantage of that even for a couple of ticks at the very least. So, you know, great little setup. Thank you, Reg, for pointing that out. Thank you guys on the Price Ladder training program for kind of pushing me in to do this, because to be honest, it's a great setup, and I think everyone should be able to see that and learn from it. I'd like to hear you guys' comments if you guys have anything to say about what we just went through. If you guys have any questions or anything at all, you know, you guys can contact me on Twitter. I'm usually quite active at certain points of the day when I'm not too busy. My handle is at MVS_Futex Live. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. This is Mirtos Savidis for Futex Live, doing our price ladder trading drill. Stay tuned for more, guys. Bye-bye for now.